Hey there, this is Daryl Olson, the chief tying guy for the Southeast Council. And to prepare for the Townsend fall trip here in October, I'm gonna tie up another fly called the George Nymph, and I'll be sharing that. It'll be for the fly of the month in the newsletter or whenever it comes out. And this fly was created by Eddie George of Tennessee in the Great Smoky Mountains back in the Great Depression, whenever that was, way before my time. And some weird facts about this. It's you'll notice that when we're tying it, the tail section will be, well, why don't we just show it to you, and we can get tying. All right. Well, this here's the George Nymph, and as you can see, the tail part here doesn't really come straight off the back of the shank. He kind of did that for a purpose to make it look like it's a curved body. And I suppose you could probably tie this on a caddis or scud hook to do that, or maybe even a little bit longer of a hook. Let's say like a terrestrial style hook, you know, to get the same effect. And then the other thing is that he used a wet fly hackle tied in that way, and then the little wing case. I don't know if you can see that or not, but anyway, let's get hook in the vise, and we will start tying that. The hook I'm going to use is a TMC 3769 in a size 12. You can tie this down to a 16 if you want. And we'll go ahead and put that in. The time I've debarbed this hook. And the thread I'm going to use, I'm using 10-aught in black, Avivas. And we'll just start this, well, before I do that, I want to put some lead on here. I'm going to use 0.015 lead-free wire on there. And I'm just going to put like 12 wraps on there. And helicopter that off. And then crunch that up. Keep it about in the middle of the shank there. I don't know if that's important or not, but that's where I'm doing it. And then we'll kind of put tapers on there, or a dam to ramp down. All right. I'm going to use some India hand hackle in brown for the tail. On there. I'm going to do is take a few fibers here, line up those tips, and then pull the shank away, or the quill. And you're going to want this tail to be roughly the half the length of the hook shank, or maybe the hook gap. And we're going to tie it in right back behind the dam there, or where that lead weight is. And we're going to take this around the bend of the hook, just to give it that funny look. Like it's swimming. And we'll trim that off. Next I'm going to use some turkey tail feathers. White tip. I kind of like this pattern versus the gray one, like most people get or can find. And I'm going to match the width of that pretty close to the gap of the hook. Because the way I do that is I kind of use another hook with that same gap, and I peel that, separate it from there, and that's where I cut it. We're going to try to keep that on top of the hook. And we're going to take it back to where the tail feather is. Lifting it up to make sure I don't see no thread there. And we'll cut that off. Next I'm going to use some small copper wire. That's going to be my ribbing. I'm going to start that on the bottom of the hook on the opposite side. And then the body is going to be some peacock herl. And I'm just going to take 3 or 4 fibers. And I'm going to line up those tips a little bit there, and I'm going to just cut them off on the tips. And we'll start those right here. And I'm going to take it to just past the middle point. And then I'm just going to palmer or wrap this around that for the body. And also by using a couple extra pieces of peacock herl, in case I break one, I don't have to untie it all. I at least got 2 more to go, or whatever. But I'm getting a nice body here, it looks like it. And then when I got to my thread, I'm just going to tie this off. And then we can cut that off or break them one at a time. And I'm going to use one of those for the thorax here in a little bit. Now I'm going to take my turkey quill and stretch that across to make sure that it's in line with the hook shank. And trim that off. And we're going to go ahead and counter wrap the rib over that. That will strengthen on that up in case the fish wants to tear it up and make my fly fall apart. And then we'll alright. Next material I'm going to put on, I'm going to use some of this white parapost from yarn from Folding Mill. And that's going to be the wing case. And I'm going to take one of them little peacock fibers that I had, and I'm going to just wrap over that built-up area there. Yeah, that's all right. That one broke. Got another one here. And we'll tie that off. And then we're going to take off down here towards the bottom end. These seem to be about the right length for the fiber. And we'll strip those off. And just what I'm looking for is that these fibers are about the length of the body. And then we're going to cut a little triangle here, right there, and we'll tie that right in. We'll lift this up. We're going to fold those fibers back. I kind of wet my fingers a little bit. And then we'll carefully wrap this around without tugging on it. It's pretty fragile. Give it two turns. Maybe one extra. And then we'll lock that stem in there. And we'll fold these back and try to create somewhat of a head. Like that one. And then we'll trim that off. And I'm going to kind of fold those fibers down. And then put this wing case across. We'll cut that off. And I'm going to use some of this hard as hall penetrant type glue. And I'm going to apply that to the thread before I whip finish. Three or four turns. And there you have it. A George Nymph. Well, hope you found that an easy tie, or we'll find it an easy tie. And hopefully maybe I'll see you on that Southeast Council Townsend fly fishing trip out in the Smoky Mountains here in October. Why don't you leave me a message and let me know if you're part of the Southeast Council, or or even if you are, if you're planning, or if you're not a member, maybe you're planning to attend and participate in that great weekend that we're going to have there for our fall trip. All right. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Daryl, and we will see you on the water.